All participants' lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the management's opening remarks. I would like to remind you all that everything said in this call that reflects any outlook for the future, which can be construed as a forward-looking statement, must be viewed in conjunction with the risk and uncertainty that the company faces. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand over the conference to Ms. Tina Veermani from Motilal Oswal. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for 2QFY26 earnings conference call of Zen Technologies. We are pleased to welcome the management team of Zen Technologies to this call. Mr. Ashok Atluri, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Afzal Malkani, CFO, and Ms. Abhilasha Atluri, Investor Relation Head. So we will start the call with a brief overview about the company's performance, after which we will open the floor for question and answer. With that, I now hand over the call to Mr. Ashok Atluri for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Fellow shareholders and potential investors and friends, thank you for coming on the call. And as you see that Q2 results have come out, and one of the main expectations during the Q2 was, in addition to results, which were not as encouraging as I would want it to be, was the order book position didn't build up as we had sought out. Again, as explained in the press release, this delay in orders has been, is attributable to the government's extreme focus on emergency procurement post Operation Sindoor, and while there was a part of that was good news, because in that we had our anti-drone systems also, but the regular procurement of training and equipment and simulators were delayed. But again, I want to assure you that this is just a question of when, not a question of if. The things are moving in the right direction, and we expect orders to come soon. So having said that, I would request Afzal Malkani to just brief you on the financials, key points in that, and then we can actually dig deep into the Q&A and try to answer your questions. Afzal.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, good evening, everyone, and we welcome to our earnings conference call for the Q2 FY26 and H1 FY26. Let's begin with a quick update on standalone performance for the Q2 FY26. Our revenue from operation was rupees 124.65 crores compared to rupees 241.69 crores in Q2 FY25. However, in Q2 FY26, this is much better than Q1 FY26. Our operational EBITDA for the Q2 FY26 decreased to rupees 42.10 crores compared to rupees 79.69 crores in Q2 FY25. In percentage terms, operational EBITDA is 34% of the revenue compared to 33% in Q2 FY25. Our total EBITDA is rupees 64.79 crores compared to rupees 87.84 crores in Q2 FY25. In percentage terms, EBITDA is 52% of the revenue compared to 36% in the last year. Our profit after tax has decreased to rupees 46.16 crores in Q2 FY26 compared to rupees 65.24 crores in the same period last year. The profit after tax in percentage terms is 37% compared to 27% in Q2 FY25. Coming on to the half-yearly performance for the H1 FY26, our revenue for the H1 FY26 is rupees 235.71 crores compared to rupees 495.64 crores in H1 FY25. Our operational EBITDA for the H1 FY26 decreased to rupees 81.27 crores compared to rupees 183.73 crores in H1 FY25. Operational EBITDA in percentage terms is 34% compared to 37% in H1 FY25. Our total EBITDA for H1 FY26 is rupees 122.72 crores compared to rupees 194.08 crores in H1 FY25. So in percentage terms, it is 52% compared to 39% in H1 FY25. Now coming on to the profit after tax, our profit after tax has reduced to rupees 83.28 crores compared to rupees 139.42 crores in H1 FY25. In percentage terms, it is 35% compared to 28% in H1 FY25. Now coming on to the consolidated financials, total consolidated revenue for the Q2 FY26 is around 173.57 crores compared to rupees 241.84 crores in Q2 FY25. There is a degrowth of 28% on a consolidated basis. Our consolidated operational EBITDA for the Q2 FY26 has decreased to rupees 65.54 crores compared to rupees 80.31 crores in Q2 FY25. The operational EBITDA on consolidated basis is 38% compared to 33% in Q2 FY25. Consolidated EBITDA for the Q2 FY26 total EBITDA is 90.05 crores compared to rupees 88.48 crores in Q2 FY25. The consolidated EBITDA in percentage terms is 52% compared to 37% in Q2 FY25. And consolidated profit after tax after adjusting non-controlling interest has decreased to rupees 59.40 crores compared to rupees 62.67 crores in the Q2 FY25. In percentage terms, it is 34% compared to 26% in Q2 FY25. Coming on to the consolidated half-yearly performance for the H1 FY26, our consolidated revenue is rupees 331.79 crores compared to rupees 496.46 crores in H1 FY25. Our consolidated operational EBITDA for the H1 FY26 is rupees 131.47 crores compared to rupees 192.53 crores in H1 25. In percentage terms, it is 40% of the revenue compared to 39% in H1 25. Our total consolidated EBITDA for H1 FY26 is rupees 176.55 crores compared to 202 crores in H1 FY25. In percentage terms, it is 53% of the revenue compared to 41% in H1 FY25. Coming on to the profit after tax for the H1 FY26, after deducting non-controlling interest, reduced to rupees 107.15 crores compared to rupees 139.48 crores. In percentage terms, it is 32% compared to 28% in H1 FY25. Now, moving on to the balance sheet part, Zen remains focused on maintaining strong liquidity and leveraging its asset-light business model. Our net cash position as on 30th September 2025 is rupees 1103 crores and we continue to debt-free status. With that, we conclude our opening remarks and would now like to open the floor for question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may click on the raise hand icon from the participant tab on your screen. We will wait for a moment until the question queue assembles. We have Manish Gupta who would be asking his question. Manish Gupta of Equinox Investment Advisors. Manish Gupta, please unmute your microphone and you can go ahead with your question, please. Mr. Manish Gupta,
Yes,
please
sir.
unmute your microphone.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the opportunity. Sir, as per media reports, Iranian Shaheed 136 drones, which cost about only $35,000 to $40,000 each, are being seen as a game changer in UAV warfare. And Zen has always been at the forefront of technology and cost effectiveness. Does this low-priced and highly effective drone undermine drone and anti-drone companies globally, including Zen, sir?
Yes, great question. So the thing what we do is we are not doing drones at this point in time. We are focusing exceptionally on anti-drone systems. And anti-drone systems, I think there are no cheaper versions than what we have been supplying are very cost competitive globally. And we have not seen any country, including China, making anything as competent and as cost effective as we have made. So there is no competition with respect to our anti-drone system globally. So to your point about what is our answer to those drones? I think that's something the drone companies are working on, and Zen has acquired vector techniques that are trying to make something better than the Shahed kind of drones, which are really cheap, and the cost to neutralize them is very, very high. But anti-drone systems, which are basically soft kill like the ones we have, are very effective solutions and can block those kind of drones effectively. And there is no when you look at the cost for bringing down these kind of drones, as long as it is not a hard kill, it's just a soft kill, blocking, jamming the signal which is being sent from the ground station to the drone, that's almost negligible. There's no cost involved. Only when we try to shoot it down, by sending multiple missiles or very expensive solution, then it becomes very expensive. So that's not the case. That's not what we are doing. Then the capability we are doing a hard kill, but it's we integrated with L70 and other weapon systems that we have, and they are not as expensive as one would, not very expensive. So that they are also very effective solutions.
All right, sir. Just a follow-up, sir. In your opinion, these drones are amenable to soft kill, or they require only hard kill, sir?
No, so it depends. If the weapon systems are, if the ground control. So what happens is, the most of the drones, they work in both the categories. One is through the ground control they work, and at some point in time they can become autonomous based on maybe a GPS system, or maybe some kind of AI based waypoint, where they see the physical characteristics and keep going. So if it is a soft, ground control thing, then the soft kill works. Where the drones become independent, autonomous, there, either we have to do GPS spoofing to mislead them of a geographical location, or the second option is actually shoot them down. So it will depend on. So these to your question, the drones may work in hybrid mode, both ground control and autonomous modes.
All right, sir. All right, sir. And so my second question is, sir, that you've always encouraged investors to stay put in Zen for the long term and not look at short-term aberrations, particularly due to the peculiarities of the defense industry, the lumpiness of the orders, and other stuff. In your opinion, sir, has anything fundamentally changed which makes you worried about the long-term prospects of the Indian defense industry, including Zen?
No, not at all. I think in the long term, the story is intact, and I've been, I personally believe that we have, it's after the dot-com bust happened in 2000, the really serious deep tech companies actually emerged, the Googles and all that. I think that's what is happening now. Companies with indigenous R&D, their own R&D, which long-term game plans, a lot of products in the pipeline, they are the companies that are going to survive this thing for a long term. And typically, again, we are prime contractors. While there is a downside to being a prime contractor, the prime contractors for which one of the customer is the Indian Armed Forces, but Indian government is pushing us to go and sell to friendly allied nations. So we have multiple customers, and we are de-risking ourselves that way. But again, to your question, has it fundamentally changed? I think the change is this, that the government is looking not for Me Too guys or people who are just reselling other technology, or just setting up a Make in India label manufacturing for becoming a manufacturing coolie for some high-end foreign technology developer, but actually developing in-house technology for India, complete IP ownership. So they are looking, I think for them, the story is improving now. And the government is saying that we want Indian IP, because they're really worried about what will happen if the software inside has a malware. We have seen again, as I had said earlier, even the pager incident with the Hezbollah was a awakening call, in the sense you could even program them to be destructive. So whatever we are getting from outside is a question mark. How do you know that it will not turn against India at some point in time? It doesn't matter which country it is. So any country may be having a malware which just turn on the switch and all our software will go. So Indian government is very, very aware of that, and they are insisting that the software be ours, and we should be able to read it, the compile it in front of us. All the electronic designs, mechanical design should be our own. And I think that is good news for companies like Zen, which believe in this IP ownership and own R&D. So I think fundamentally it is changed in a way which is very positive for companies like Zen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll join back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. We have our next question coming in from Pritish Urumkar of ICICI Securities. Please unmute your microphone.
Hello.
Please go
Hi,
ahead,
this
sir.
is Vikas Singh from ICICI Securities. So just wanted to understand our cumulative revenue guidance of 6,000 crore, given the first half has been pretty weak. So how should we look at this 6,000 crore cumulative revenue guidance? Should we think that it will spill over to FY29, given our order is also pretty low as compared to our historical rate?
So Pritish, our feeling is that, based on the order pipeline that we have, that the orders will start, accelerating toward in the H2, especially towards the end. And in 27 also the acceleration will continue. There will be a lot of orders that will be keep coming. And what we are saying is cumulatively these orders will be executed in 27 and 28 at this point in time. I don't think that as of now our feeling is that all the 6,000 crores, whatever 6,000 minus whatever we execute during FY26 will be executed in FY27 and 28, assuming that the order book will be in place as we are assuming. So I think the chance of this 6,000 crores going to FY29 isn't there as of now, and so we feel personally very confident that I think 27 and 28 are going to be great years for them.
Noted, sir. So last year had been a year of acquisition for you. Given those four verticals which you have acquired, how should we look at your total addressable market right now? Because since we are looking at 6,000 cumulative, and how much you think that those four division would contribute in this cumulative 6,000 crore?
So, the four companies that we have acquired, the thing is the Zen's acquisition strategy has been very, very clear in the sense that first we are saying that we should become strong in training and simulation. And one of the acquisitions in that regard was ARI, for the naval simulation. So it's a very, very, almost, even though it's inorganic, but organic in terms of strategy. And then we are also looking at now we are trying to build our own Air Force simulators, but we are also looking at some interesting acquisitions in that regard. So this is the training and simulation. The second was in the area of anti-drone systems. And anti-drone system, we are already doing soft kill kind of a thing. Now, how do we add the hard kill portion of that? AI Turing made the remote control weapon stations, and they were able to integrate weapon, and they were tested by the way, they are tested in the recent trials. And I think we were the only one-stop shop solution for the complete hard kill requirement. And the end user really appreciated what we have offered. It's not like we are getting a rack of 5-6 items and trying to put it together and try to offer, but a very, very integrated and very intuitive solution we have given. And again, we are looking at the vector. So we are also trying to understand the ecosystem of the drones, and in that regard we have invested in vector techniques, and TISA is another thing that has acquired. Again, when you look at robotics, we have invested in Bhairava Robotics, which is again a very integral part of the, what would I say, automated weapon system, the RCWS kind of a system. So you see these are not verticals, but they are actually very, very accretive in nature to our strategy. So I think these acquisitions, when we are talking about the 6,000 crore, we are adding all whatever we are solution we are offering. The incremental solutions being offered by these companies are included in that, subsumed in that.
Noted, sir. And sir, just one thing, we are talked about a lot on the anti-drone system, soft kill and hard kill, but as we know that this space is also getting crowded. So what is the differentiator for you?
So, one thing is the software, the hardware, everything is indigenous. What we are developing is completely IP owned by us. And we have seen in 23, 23 when tenders were issued that under IDDM, it is very difficult for any other Indian company to qualify. So they are getting it from outside and they are trying to, collaborate with partners and try to pass it. So the first thing is that the IP ownership is ours. Second is the amount of the coverage that we give. The most of the guys were giving coverage of commercial frequency drones, and they were saying, when they say commercial frequency, typically, they are 2.5, 2.4, 5.8, 900 megahertz, etc. They are commercial frequencies in which the DJI, all these Chinese drones, third-rate Chinese drones fly. So those we are able to actually, those were being stopped earlier by everybody, including Zen. But when the war started, when the actual requirement came, we realized that they will not be flying in commercial frequency. They'll be flying in any frequency in between. And that is where, when we started doing wideband anti-drone systems, we were the only people who qualified in that. There in 23, when this was done, 24, 25 was supplied, we were the only guys who were able to do it. So even now, if IDTM requirement, the IP requirement is there is no way we feel that any company can do it, because we have done research for 3 to 4 years, very, very heavy research in this. So, but and it is very important that the IP in this company should be owned by India. We cannot have anybody else owning it, because at the time of war, the software may fail. And may means will. The Murphy's law comes into operation in wars. So we have to ensure that these are completely India owned. And the third point was that we are giving a complete solution. It was hard kill. A lot of people are saying, but where are they getting the remote control weapon station from? Where are they getting the weapons from? So all these are question marks, actually, but we are, as one company, as one group, Zen and their subsidiaries are giving one integrated, comprehensive, non-negotiable solution. So I think that is what is the standing. But again, you are right in the sense there are a lot of claimants at this point in time, and because there is too much of decentralization happening in the armed forces, there may be some orders that the others are picking up. But in terms of quality and the comprehensiveness of the solution, Zen is way ahead of the competition. Again, we think that if it is the IDDM, where the government actually verifies the software, the electronics, and the mechanical software, mechanical hardware, they will immediately know that Zen is the only serious player in this segment.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to our next participant, Akshay Patel of AK Investment. Please unmute your microphone, sir.
Okay. Hello, sir. Sir, my first question is regarding government procurement. So, as you said, that government is on the fast track procurement of defense equipment, and our anti-drone system is one of them. So, why are we not getting orders since after the Operation Sindoor? And earlier we had talked about 650 crore of order flow in the first half that is getting delayed. So, can we expect this in the second half of FY26?
Yeah, so the thing, we are very positive, Akshay, that these orders will come through. Again, it's a matter of time and not whether we'll get it or not. And so that was those 650 crores that we talked about were related to simulators and training equipment. So that has got pushed because of the government's focus on post Operation Sindoor on operational equipment. And so that will come through. We are very sure. We were actually very sure that it will come by September 30th. But so we were very wrong about the slowness with which things would happen. But now, they'll definitely come in H2. So there is no doubt about that. To your second question, why no orders with respect to even anti-drone systems? So the thing is, the anti-drone system tenders have just been floated. As we speak, just this is, it's almost a week in terms of government times. May this thing happened. They were started doing it in June, July, August. Now we are in September. It's 3 or 4 months after the Operation Sindoor. So but we think that in the next couple of months, some of the results will come through, and you'll probably hear good news if the government sticks to its own proposed timeline. And this emergency procurement, typically even the delivery has to happen within 12 months or so. So I think we are waiting for the evaluations to be over, RFPs to be floated, evaluations to be open, and orders to be placed. But they should happen in the next couple of months is what our expectation is.
Okay, sir. And sir, my second question is what is the total addressable market for simulators and anti-drone system, particularly in India? And my follow-up question on that would be when do you expect these segments, both these segments, to get stagnant? As when all the area will be covered by anti-drone system or all the simulation has been placed? When do we expect this segment to be stagnant and Zen's growth will be flattish over the how many years?
I think next 4 to 5 years, the growth will continue, Akshay. And, there are two things. One is for simulator market, simulators will be required, they'll have a typical life cycle of 10 years. And after 10 years, they need to buy again. So as we grow and keep supplying the simulators, I think the growth will keep happening, but those old simulators will require to be refurnished. So there is a recycling of the market that is happening. Second is the anti-drone system. Again, they also have a very limited life cycle of 10 years. But not only that, in addition to having a limited life cycle, they also, the threat is evolving in almost every year. When we started, everybody was saying that we want a soft kill. We don't want hard kill, they would say. Where, they said, we are not worried about hard kill, only soft kill. And, we made the soft kill system. And then they said, listen, we want soft kill, but, now we also want autonomous. There are autonomous drones. When they ground control to drone, there is a communication link. We break it through jamming. Then adversary came out with something called the autonomous. I will not use the ground control. After it reaches the enemy destination, we will move into GPS. The drone will go through GPS and no ground control will be there, so the jamming will not work. So we had to come up with something called as GPS spoofing. We did the GPS spoofing, and then now they are coming up with something called as autonomous. Just not even GPS. They will look at the waypoints, AI vision based drones. So now we have to do nothing but shoot them down. So our systems are evolving. So we think this cat and mouse game will come, but they'll try to overcome us, and we'll try to overcome what they have overcome. So this thing will keep going on, and the systems will be required every 3 years upgradation will be required, almost like our PC or laptops. I think this is going to be a continuous market for us. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We have our next question coming in from Bala Subramanian A of Arihant Capital. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Sir, my first question, you talked about AI. In this, we are transforming through AI. Beyond using LLMs in simulators, what specific proprietary AI models you are developing for core products like anti-drone systems, especially for threat classifications or loitering munitions? It's like for autonomous targeting. How much of the increased R&D spend in H1, it's nearly 12.3 crore allocated specifically to these AI initiatives?
Yeah,
So my
so
first question, sir.
Yeah, so I think AI has become a really obsession within the company. So when we look at AI, there are two types of AI we are talking about. One is within the company, how do you implement AI across processes where you're buying or when you're trying, procurement, R&D, the operations, after sale service, the CSD. So all this value chain, how do you apply the process so that things become more faster and the bottlenecks are resolved? So that is the process-based AI that we do. Second, that you are alluding to is the product-based AI, where the products we put AI into the product. And for example, take simulators. The one of the better, when we're looking at simulators, the best way to train somebody in AI in simulators is one-on-one is what we would say the best kind of training is. So how do we build that one-on-one training with the AI experts being into the development of the system, integrated into the system? So I think that is what we are trying to achieve. We will be able to do one-on-one expert. There is some noise, Bala, from your side. Can you mute yourself? Yeah. So unless this the AI is integrated into the product. Once AI is integrated, what happens is, what is the best kind of training? This is one-on-one training where an expert coaches a trainee. So that is the best kind of training. And the second thing is, how do we ensure that, so AI is that kind of a coach. If there are 100 people, it will detect what is each guy's weakness, and it will be able to coach the guy as an expert. So similarly, in anti-drone system also, threat classification, everything, the AI is being integrated in a large way. So yeah, we are actually, eating, drinking, breathing AI at this point in time. We are at a very, very basic level, the AI is completely integrated. Yeah. Sorry, Bala, please go ahead with your next question.
Yes, sir. So my second question for that equipment order book nearly 346 crore, but the major execution is happening in Q3 only. And any further significant new orders are we are expecting, especially for new anti-drones? And what is our current production capacities?
So, we have adequate, again, remember, Bala, we don't do most of our production in-house. We have a value chain that addresses the production issues. So we have enough bandwidth within the supply chain that to execute the order. So we don't think there is any constraint there. With respect to the order book, yes, I think in H2 we'll be executing considerable part of the order book that we have, and we see some more accretions also happening. And whatever accretions are happening, we'll try to execute them also. So I think that way H2 will also be, I think it will not be as good as last year, but it will be muted. The whole year will be muted. But again, we think that 27, 28 will more than make up for the deficiency in the current year.
Thank you, sir. We have our next question coming in from Bhavna Singh of Yes Securities. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking my question. First is, sir, obviously would like to understand with the muted macro environment that we're sitting on with the product mix that we have. So what is the expectation in terms of product mix kind of an outlook, maybe for a mix between simulator and anti-drone system, or with the new acquisitions that we've done? Is it that we're trying to pivot in terms of a product mix segment? You did mention earlier in the call that 650 crores simulator order was expected, which is obviously pushed to sometimes, for the next quarter or so. So, one is obviously trying to understand on the product mix for this year that we should look at, or probably the guidance that you've given out for 6,000 crores of a top line, say in the next 2 years or so. So what would lead the contribution, or which product would lead the contribution over there?
Thanks, Bhavna. So, in terms of product mix, we are looking only between simulators and anti-drone systems, and the simulators would be across three services. And anti-drone system, again, Indian and foreign, India and exports, Indian armed forces and friendly allied nations, and simulators also similarly domestic and international markets. So to your, so what you're saying, out of the 6,000 crores, what would be the breakup between simulator and anti-drone system? I will make a very wild guess, and so I may be off the mark, but typically we are thinking, we are thinking 40-60, but now we have started thinking maybe it is 50-50 kind of thing. So it's an evolving situation, but the pipeline for the anti-drone system has become very strong post-Operation Sindoor, and I think that's going to lead the demand for the product that we have. With respect to, are we going to pivot to something else because of the acquisitions or not? They're very, very, the focused acquisitions. And, very frankly, first 25 of our 25 years of our existence, we were just focused on one line. That was training simulators for the army, not even for the Navy or Air Force. We were just doing that. Now, after that, we added the second line, which was, anti-drone systems. And again, that's been 8 years, and, we are not really, we are trying to consolidate. So what we feel is that whenever if you are in a field in which you have some lead and, some kind of a leadership position, and there is a lot of market still left untapped. Don't try to make yourself thinly spread over many avenues. So we really want to go deep into these things, simulation and anti-drone systems, and we don't want to pivot unless there is a very, very good acquisition that has deep capabilities and can help us have a leadership plan to become a global number one or number two in next 3 to 5 years. We don't want to really pivot. So to answer to your short answer is that we will go deeper into what we have, because these markets have a lot of potential. As somebody was asking the addressable market, again, we think a couple of $1 billion in both the cases at the minimum are there, markets are there, and we want to exploit those markets rather than go across something else, go across to something.
So just to follow up on that, obviously, as you mentioned, but if you probably can give a little bit overview on what is the mix that you're probably looking to have, even on the geographic side of it, be it domestic or exports. Earlier on the call, I think sometime last quarter, you did mention that H2 probably will pivot more towards export-oriented segments. So just like to probably understand on how you are placed for the year in terms of the order pipeline and for the next year on that front.
So, again, in terms of geographic focus, we have, Africa is one region that we really focus on. We are looking at Middle East, we are looking at CIS countries, and now with our acquisition of, ARI, they have a very strong presence in Southeast Asia. We are leveraging their connections there, and they have office in Singapore. So we are trying to leverage that to actually get entry into those markets. So we think that again, the efforts H2 in the efforts are being accelerated, and we do hope that between H2 and H1 of next year there will be some very nice pleasant surprises in exports market, and we'll get a lot of revenues in that regard. So again, we think simulator is our big part of the exports demand that we are getting, but also anti-drone systems. We see a lot of inquiries coming. So again, this will be a mix of both anti-drone systems and simulators, which will be leading our efforts into exports. I think. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have our next question coming in from Rupesh Tatia of Long Equity Partners. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hello sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Just following up on the previous participant's question. So you said 50-50, 6,000 crore order book, rough guess is 50-50. But is it fair to say that, the competitive landscape in simulator is very favorable, but the competitive landscape in counter drone system may worsen, so the margin profile will be significantly different? Any qualitative or quantitative comment if you can provide around the margins of the two segments?
Again, I think just to explain to you, how do we, the value capture, where does the value capture come? Where do the margins come from is deep R&D. If you are actually done a tremendous amount of R&D in a product, and you are able to offer features, and you are able to offer them at a price which is the best in the world to the customer, I think customer is willing to pay. So what we are saying is these margins that we have are in competition with the similar kind of system that are being done. And now how much they have spent the R&D, typically their cost of actually achieving this system is much, much higher than what we are able to again. And we operate very efficiently. R&D is very efficient. Our productions are very efficient. So all these also add up to the savings that are there, which are not possible with two other companies. And for example, we know one very large company that has got about 6 vendors together to offer a offering that we were given. Again, it's a broken system that they are offering. But the fact is, everybody is adding their margins, and finally, by the time they come and actually compete with us, they will not be able to become cost competitive to us. And even if they are trying to match us, they won't have any margins. So these margins are because we have created deep R&D and in-house R&D. So I think that is why we are able to think. And so to your question, the answer is that these margins are sustainable. At least in the next couple of years, we don't see any threat of margins being compromised. But again, we'll let the market speak in the next 2 and 3 years, and let us see how again you are right in the sense that if they become very aggressive, we will also become very aggressive and try to compete with them. But as of now, we see no threat to the margins that we are having.
Okay. And sir, I mean, counter drone system tailwinds, I think I understand. I mean, I think most of us understand based on what is happening around the world. But what is what are, like 2, 3 things that are driving this big order inflow in the simulator segment? Because I don't think we have ever seen such large quantum of orders in simulators. So what is driving this?
So, Rupesh, what has changed is this, 5 years back, the wars were not happening at all. I mean, there were no wars. People were not, before Armenia, Azerbaijan, nobody was even thinking about war. Somebody said, what happens with a war? They didn't want to prepare for war. And then, Armenia, Azerbaijan happened. Then Russia, Ukraine happened. Now, everybody is itching to go for a war. Somebody was saying that 17 or 18, skirmishes or wars, battles going on in the world. And who would have imagined Thailand and Cambodia fighting? So, the thing is, now war is no longer looking like a distant fantasy, but it is knocking right at the door of every nation. And for that, they need to prepare. They need to be really trained efficiently in a shorter time and in a continuous manner. So preparation for war is no longer an option, but an absolute necessity for every nation at this point in time. So this shift of wars happening, potential threats, somebody coming and attacking them is very real, and that's why we see the simulator, the tailwinds as you said, for anti-drone system. They're also there for training and simulation equipment.
Thank you, sir. We have our next question coming in from Dipen Vakil of Phillip Capital. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, sir. Sir, challenging times, but EBITDA margin resilience has been something which is positive. So my first question is, sir, in this quarter, out of 94 crore worth of new order wins, almost 90 crores have been from your subsidiaries. So can you tell us about which subsidiaries are contributing to such order wins and the kind of execution that we can expect from subsidiaries also going forward, and the kind of split that is there in the order book right now? So 675 crores.
Basis, it is under 675 crore rupees, out of which 375 crore rupees is equipment and remaining is for the AMC. Out of this 675 crore rupees order book, 484 is Zen. UTS is around 98 crore rupees. ARIPL is around 92 crore rupees, and Vector is around 1 crore rupees. So total subsidiaries is 190 crore rupees.
Got it, sir. So also recently there was some news flow around so basically an RFP for something like your Prahasta product. So any progress or any RFP that has come out for your for a product on that front?
Yeah, we have some RFPs that have come up again, for various reasons. We cannot really get into that, but they are largely anti-drone system tenders have come out, and they are actually kind of going to increase in size, and the size are pretty big. But again, not now, but in 27, they think the size of the orders are going to be very, very big, and we expect that the demand, especially in the anti-drone segment, is going to be huge. But again, simulators also, they're going to be huge. But as to your question, yes, there are some new tenders that have come up.
Thank you, sir. We'll take our next question from Akshay Jogani of Exponent Tribe. Please go ahead with your question.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I have a few questions on the drone side. Sir, this a few days ago you gave a press release of getting a contract for a hard kill system. Can you just give some color on sort of what exactly in terms of is it a full system, and what are the specs of those system of that particular hard kill system that we are supplying?
So, I'll not go much into details, but, typically the system consists of detector, jammer, radar, electronic optic, which is the camera, and then hard kill weapon, that remote control weapon station, and the actual weapon which is required. So all this put together make up the system, and we are able to supply. We were able to win the thing again. This was a typically single vendor situation, resultant single vendor situation. Nobody else could even come up with the offer to the government. So yeah. So this is what the configuration was.
Sure. So this is for one system or multiple systems? This was one
Please,
system or multiple?
please come again.
So this was one system, like this is connected to one L70 gun, or is it like
No,
multiple?
it was not L7. It was some, it was some other weapon. Yeah, it was
Okay,
not.
but one. This is a one system.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. Maybe it must be two systems or something like.
Sure.
Not sure about the quantity. Yeah.
Sure. So the reasons I'm asking is I sort of want to kind of extrapolate to get a sense of kind of because we have a bunch of air defense guns, right? And the conversations are to kind of retrofit these systems to the air defense guns as a hard kill system, right? So the objective of kind of asking this is, if we have 1,000 guns that you have to attach, this for one, two, or multiple is sort of what my
Yeah, so
objective is.
so again, we have already integrated our system with the L70. It has been proven, so it is being, so it has actually on trials to shot down, and it's been used at many places. So the ability to integrate with air defense guns, it's proven in the case of Zen simulators. For you to say, listen, these many guns are there. So if all get integrated, what is the size of the market pertaining for to air defense gun for Zen simulator, Zen anti-drone systems? I think it's a little difficult exercise to do. So we will. But one thing we know is that we are, L70 Zen is the only company that has the mainstay of air defense. Zen is the only company that is integrated and demonstrated it to the armed forces. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We'll take our next question from Harshit Kapadia of Elara Capital. Please unmute your microphone.
Just wanted to check with you, sir. We were expecting the simulator order for six.
I think the orders will definitely come in H2. We are very confident about that. And so there were not only these orders, there are some other orders that have to come through. And we see that the government is now, again, because of this emergency procurement push, we are not able to really commit by when they will get the order. But we think it will be sooner than later. But given the experience of H2, our confidence level, we are kind of little reticent to actually give it with so much of confidence. But I think orders are on track, and we should be getting them, sooner than later. Probably, but definitely in H2. There's no question of it spilling out to 27.
Great. So great to know this. Secondly, sir, you mentioned about emergency procurement. Any clarity by when do you expect the emergency procurement orders or any announcement to happen, or has it also started? Secondly, what could be the size of order that Zen could get within the emergency procurement? Any tentative idea would be of great help.
So, one thing is each order should be less than 300 crores because this emergency procurement, the size is typically limited to less than 300 crores. And especially if it is within the, IFS power, which is the vice chief in this case. And the second one is with respect to by when the orders will be concluded. I think they have to be concluded before March of 2026, unless there is extension given to the EP. But it may happen even earlier in some of the cases. So, but not later than March 2026.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next question is coming in from Shrenik Mehta of Indo-Alps Wealth. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, you can hear me?
Yes.
So my question was about the ADS orders that you received, and also some media reports which were showing that a large part of these orders are going more to the defense companies like BEL and DRDO compared to the private companies like Zen. So we get orders probably for faster deployment areas, and the BEL and the DRDOs are probably getting orders for the bigger deployments which are not very time critical. Do you have some comments which reflect on what's really happening here?
So, anti-drone systems, I think we are in a very good position. Any end user who's very serious about, if they really dig deep, there is only one company that can actually deliver a very serious system. That is Zen Technologies. And with respect to Bell, typically the orders are placed on Bell because DRDO is the R&D organization. Very rarely orders are placed on DRDO, except for maybe trial or something. But Bell would be when they get it, I don't think they're getting anything in this area, but they're getting a lot of other orders. Again, one of the benefits of being public sector unit is that you can you get direct orders from the government. So that's a plus point that they have, which we don't have, because even though under IDDM we get single vendor benefits, but most of the time we will never be nominated. So yes, but an anti-drone system, again, I think we are by far the best solution available in India and most of the other places. And so that is the answer. But please go ahead with your next question.
So we're looking a little worried about the scale up to 6,000 crores in 3 years' time. This will really mean that from something like 100 crores order in a quarter, we will have to scale next year to maybe 500 crores in a quarter, and then going forward to 750 crores in a quarter. So that kind of scale up looks very difficult if you look at what is happening in the last 3-4 quarters. Uh, is it more like a hope that we will get to the 6,000 crores by FY28 cumulatively, or is it you feel that there is a very strong reality that it could happen?
So there are two things, Shrenik. One is will we get the order book? Will the order book scale up to that? And second is will you be able to execute the orders? So I think the first is given the pipeline that we have, the order pipeline is very, very strong, and we should be able to get it. Second is, as we speak, we are scaling ourselves to execute the orders, these large orders where that you are saying, exactly. It is 500 and 750 crores per quarter. That's a very, very strong order. And given the fact that we have done 250, 300 crores, let us say, not take this as an exception, but we have done 250, 300 crores. Will we be able to scale to 500? I think that's easy. 750 will require some changes, but we are hopeful that we will be able to achieve that.
Thank you so much, sir. We will take our last question for the day from Abhijit Singh of Systematics. Please go ahead with your question. Mr. Abhijit Singh, please unmute your microphone.
Am I audible now?
Your voice is too low, Mr. Singh.
Yeah. So altitude, endurance, payload, etc. Similarly, in terms of counter drones, sir, is there any objective capability that we can define, in general, to understand the competitive landscape that we are operating in, both in the domestic market as well as exports? So right now, what I understand is that we are working on solutions which will counter the capabilities of our main adversary. But like going forward, if we talk about the global landscape, what are the capabilities that we are looking at, adding to our portfolio to be able to compete?
So, in the anti-drone segment, Abhijit, we look at, distance, how far can you detect it, and, how can you disable the incoming drones, and what are the different ways you can do? Can you do, the jamming? Can you do spoofing? Can you do actual hard kill? Can you shoot them down? So these are the different characteristics that are there. And then, there are also what kind of frequency ranges you can do. So, initially it was just commercial drones. Then it became from 400 to 6 gigahertz. But now, when I went to the DSEI, we know that our adversaries are procuring drones in the in 100 megahertz, 200 megahertz categories. So those drones are not detectable by the previous anti-drone systems. So how do we make our anti-drone systems that are capable of detecting drones from 100 megahertz all the way to 12 gigahertz? That's the kind of drones that were being purchased by our adversaries. So so these are the capabilities that will we be able to jam them and bring them down? So those are number one. That is the thing that we are looking at. Globally, when we are looking at what we think is that the game is changing now in the sense that the detection capabilities will be vastly different at some point in time. For example, we are talking about incoming drone at a height of 10,000 or 20,000 feet. But what happens if a mothership, which is very large and flies at 45,000, 50,000 feet, comes just above us and then leaves a lot of drones down? So how do we handle those kind of drones? So these kind of threats are emerging, and companies like Zen are really, really preoccupied with how to solve these issues. And that is one of the reasons I'm saying that if you as a country, you will have to buy it from Indian companies, because that is the only way that you will be able to upgrade when the problem comes. If you were to buy something from a foreign company and you go to them and say, listen, this is not working, the new threat has emerged, will you upgrade me? They are saying, so sorry, you have to buy a new system, or they may just refuse to upgrade if there is a war going on. So this is a capability that the Indian government and should really, really focus on trying to get it solved with indigenous technologies.
Right, sir. Sir, and just the last question. So, in line with the first question, are we looking to partner with some global company or a technology provider in order to scale up to these higher frequencies and adding up more capabilities? So, is there a plan in that sense, or is the plan is to do a significant amount of R&D and IP in-house?
So, the thing is, Abhijit, that these capabilities are already there. What I'm talking about, the drones of, 100 to 12 gigahertz, all these capabilities are already there, which most of the companies in the world don't have. So, so when we are looking if we were to partner with somebody, what are we going to partner for? We don't need the technology. And not only that, as we speak now, we are working on more futuristic technologies, which, other people may not even be wondering that this is a threat which will be coming up in the future. So we are working already in those technologies. But, to be very frank, if India needs us to partner with somebody because that technology is not available with Zen, we would be open to it. But we have to look, we are looking for such an opportunity where the technology that we don't have, somebody else has, and we can partner with them. So, but as of now, again, we are way ahead of the game, and we are still investing in more futuristic R&D. And let's hope that we as India are able to export this to our friendly nations. But again, to your question, if there is some capability that Zen doesn't have and the country needs, we will be willing to partner with a technology partner to deliver the solution to them. Again, we would like to indigenize that solution rather than being their manufacturing coolie and keep manufacturing them for them. We would definitely want to partner with them, because Zen is very strong technically. And if some technology partner comes, we would do R&D with them to create the next version of their product, which would be much, much stronger than what they were to do by themselves. So I think, yes, we are open to technical partnership, as long as it's a technological partnership, not a relationship of master slave kind of a thing where they throw the technology at us and ask us to manufacture. We don't do that thing, but definitely we will collaborate on doing R&D together.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I will now hand it over back to Ashok sir for the concluding remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, friends. Thanks for being patient and asking questions, and really appreciate shareholders who continue to be with Zen through thick and thin. And we think that the big picture is playing out now. The version 2 of the growth, the way .com bust happened, and then the actual companies came up. The version 2 of the defense thing is coming up, and which are the companies that will really flourish are the companies that have the R&D, in-house R&D, not they're just partnering and doing a jugadu job for each tender, but actually having a long-term strategy to develop some deep capabilities in some verticals, which is what Zen is doing. And I think we will be big beneficiaries of the government's focus on IDDM, indigenous IP, and we will also be significantly addressing friendly nations from India and do a good job of exports, both in simulators and anti-drone systems. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of Zen Technologies Limited, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now click the leave icon to exit the meeting. Thank you all for your participation.